Are you trying to
Yeah.
stop? No, yeah. Just start with hello.
Kira.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to hear that. So it's been a couple of weeks since we've met. And I'd like to kind of check in on the process a little bit. Because you first came to see me, and you've obviously experienced a lot of new things in your life. A lot of you moved and don't know a lot of people.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that stuck out for me in that first session was just the lack of job and how that was affecting you and the way you thought about yourself.
Right.
And then in the second session, we looked a little bit at some of your assessment results, and that really helped me get a better sense of you and what's important to you. And I think kind of the highlights from that session for me were really looking at some of the values that are important to you, and that's where spirituality came out. That you felt like you could attend to that more. So, if I'm wrong, please tell me.
Okay.
But it feels like the direction that we've been going has revolved around kind of the way that you view yourself as an independent woman, and some of your current life experiences have challenged that a little bit. But also in growing in the way that you see yourself, you also want to make sure that you attend to your spiritual self.
Yeah.
Does that seem accurate?
Yeah, I guess like more so like the first thing. So more about me and my independence, and how my current transitions have allowed me to either feel more independent or less independent.
Okay.
And then maybe like less focused on spirituality, but just how maybe my I guess perception of different values in general have been challenged per se, or changed, or the ways I want to change them, I guess. If that makes sense. So like with the spirituality, like being in a new place and kind of redefining my spirituality.
Redefining that. As part of redefining how you see yourself? Or different?
I think it's kind of different.
Okay.
I mean, it can be the same, and I guess it is the same, but I mean, I guess it should be the same because spirituality is a big part of my life, as we talked about in the last session, but more so, yeah, I don't know.
You see me thinking more about it right now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Take your time.
I guess like the whole independence thing, maybe being spiritually independent, maybe if that makes sense. So not relying, like we talked about, not relying, like me being able to go and have my own time with God, and me being able to read the Bible on my own time, and not necessarily rely on my pastor or things like that. So I guess that can tie in to my independence, being an independent woman, things like that.
Okay.
But I guess I don't understand how it ties into the whole career, professional development.
Sure. Okay. And and obviously this is your time, so you figure out what's best for you. It seems like that you have been thinking about it a little bit more since we've met.
Yeah.
Any other things that you've thought or ruminated about?
I thought a lot about, I guess just, continuing my professional development and making sure that I'm comfortable with where I am, and understanding that it's not about, I guess, what others say and what others think where others think I should be
Yes.
within my goals of professional development. For instance, like I brought up my uncle, so not necessarily, being concerned about what he has to say, but me being comfortable enough to be like, well, this is where I am, and this is what it is, and me being comfortable with that,
Regardless of what he.
or
And,
anybody
for
else has to
example.
say, yeah.
Okay. Do you, but you're not there yet?
I mean, I am there, but I feel like there are times when I may, I guess, teeter between being, I guess, comfortable, if that's the correct word, with being in my growth as a student, professionally developing into the counseling realm, and then me being independent and not having to worry and rely on others, and me being able to, as we talked about, separate the two and keep them separate, and I guess being comfortable within that, that
Sure.
space.
Yeah.
After the first session, I was definitely uncomfortable, but then I realized that it was more so about how I perceive myself, so I became comfortable, and then, like I said, there are times when I teeter between the two.
Yeah.
So.
Can you think of, let me help me understand a little bit too. So can you think of a specific time when you're not comfortable with it? Like a real concrete example?
I guess like a specific time when I'm not comfortable would probably be like if so like right now I live with my aunt.
Yes.
And so I guess like I really want to move out. Cause like we talked about the whole privacy thing, like that's one of my values. Me being able to, I guess, come and go as I please and be independent, and not have to worry about, like if I wanted to, this is gonna sound really selfish, and it's okay, I really don't care right now.
It's
but,
okay with me too.
Yeah, okay, so like if I wanna eat something that I wanna eat for dinner, not having to worry about to make it for 3 other people. And so me being independent enough to say, this is what I want to eat for dinner. And, I don't care what everybody else eats. I don't care about having to spend $15 on, making sure that everybody else is taken care of tonight, because that's not my responsibility. And then like the professional development thing, like for school, so if I stay after for school, my aunt not calling me and be like, hey, are you okay? Like when are you coming home? And me having to explain myself. So me being independent enough to be able to, like I said, come home when I please, do what I want to do, and not having to answer to somebody.
Yeah.
Or if I am doing something for school, not having to be like, I got a lot of homework today. Can you guys just like leave me alone? So me being able to go home and have a quiet house.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of where
Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask you, like the example when you're making dinner for yourself and you have to make it for other people. Is someone saying to you, make dinner for other people, or you just feel compelled to do it because there's other people?
Some of both. So sometimes, like, so for instance, like back home, my mom, she cooked, like we didn't eat red meat, so we ate like turkey and things like that. We didn't eat like ground beef, and they eat ground beef at their house.
Okay.
And so I don't always want to eat ground beef.
Sure.
And so if I made like stuffed peppers one night, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make stuffed peppers, like, and my aunt was like, oh, okay, like, I'll try them. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, all right. So then it became me and my aunt. And then it became me, my aunt, and my cousin. So then it's like, okay, now I gotta get like 5 stuffed peppers. And so I'm like, well, now I gotta get more meat, more like taco sauce, more peppers. And I mean, it's fine. Like, you know, I don't mind doing it because I honestly don't cook all the time, since it is more people in the house. But just like a heads up, you know, like if you want me to cook for everybody, let me know.
Yeah.
And then sometimes my mom will be like, you know, why don't you make dinner? I'm like, Mom, are you gonna cook? Are you gonna give me the money for me to make dinner for everybody? Like, are you gonna provide me $20 so I can go to the store and cook dinner? No, you're not. So don't suggest me to make dinner for everybody. Because like she knows, like, I mean, I don't have the funds to, you know, cook for everybody. Yeah, and so it's like, or if I go out, like sometimes my aunt will be like, you know, dinner's on your own tonight. Okay, I'll go to, I guess, like Chick-fil-A or something. Yeah. And then it's like, my cousin would be like, you didn't ask me if I wanted anything to eat. No, I didn't. You're right. Like, I don't have the funds to pay for my food and your food. Like, and I'm not your mom. So, so it's just like.
I'm getting a picture now.
Yeah.
I see where you're kind of conflicted with being irritated.
Yeah.
A little bit because you don't have your privacy.
Yeah.
And as you said, I think you mentioned the word cusp, being on the cusp. And I feel like that you're there in terms of wanting to grow. Yeah. In the way that you want to.
Right.
You feel a little hindered.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think you definitely hit the nail on the mark. Like, I want to grow in the way I want to grow, but I feel as though I'm under an umbrella per se, and I can't bloom as a flower because the rain is not coming down and allowing me to bloom. Per se.
And a lot of it's, as you said, nature environment.
Right.
I wonder if, and as of now, there's not any chance of changing that. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess for like, unfortunately, until I'm able to, you know, save up enough money to move out. So like that's my main goal, so that I can begin to separate. The two.
So you can be on your own. Okay. But in the meantime, you're living with your aunt. Okay. Can you think of anything that maybe you, and again, this is me not knowing, but can you think of anything that you could do differently now and not wait to start or to continue your independent growth process?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like, I don't know. I guess something I could do is, yeah, I don't know, honestly.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. I guess that's a hard question. Ponder on that.
We'll let that marinate a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, I'm thinking if you can't change your environment right now, what can you do differently for yourself? But still, obviously, it's still honoring if need be.
Right.
But that would help you feel more positive about the direction you're going in now. You know what your long term is. What are things you need to do?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, definitely like stay focused on school. And then, I mean, it's like sometimes I want to like talk to my aunt and kind of like
want to do that,
Yeah,
but you don't.
but I don't.
Okay.
Cause I don't think she'll really understand. So I don't. I guess something else I could do is, when I do get a job is, save up my money, so that I can begin to, save a down, like up for a down payment on an apartment or things like that.
Sure.
What else?
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
If you did talk to your
Uh-huh.
attorney,
Uh-huh.
what would you say?
I guess I would just tell her like that, like I appreciate her like letting me stay in her house, but I feel like she doesn't understand that I am 23 and not when her 19-year-old, like teenage children still.
And your cousin?
Yeah. And you know, I've been out in the world, like I've had my own apartment. I've been able to self-sustain. I understand that you want me to contribute and pay a monthly rent thing, so I pay like a monthly rent. And so I feel like by doing that, I just ask that like you're kind of, like I respect your house, so I just ask that you kind of respect my privacy per se, like, not even necessarily privacy, but just, I guess, like, respect where I'm coming from. So I feel like you kind of, I don't even know how to, like, I guess, I mean, I understand that you're looking out for the best of me, but just understand that you don't have to treat me as a child in the process. So I guess maybe something like that.
Okay. I'm not necessarily suggesting that you do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know your aunt. I don't know how she would respond.
Yeah, I mean, I think she would be more open to it. It would be my uncle that would be more like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. He's very, I don't even know how to explain him. He is his own person.
This is the uncle you've talked about.
Yes, this
Okay.
is the same.
Now,
uncle.
I did not even know that
Yes.
you were living with him.
Yes,
I see.
yeah, they're married.
Got it.
Um,
Okay. I thought it was an uncle back in
no. It's the, they're married, so I live with them too.
I see.
But he is very, like, I don't think you should be doing this, and, like, the whole education thing, like, you should be working instead, or, what else? He's called me, like, bougie before, I'm like, what? Like, okay, whatever. And it's just, and I think it's because he wasn't there for majority of my life. So my aunt is my mom's sister. So he was married into the family. And so he wasn't there for, I mean, they got married when I was like little. But they lived in Georgia most of all my life. And so honestly, this is my first like real, long time interaction with them.
Okay.
And so they don't really, I guess, know me as a person.
Sure.
And so it's more so like he'll try to impose his values on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, it's really not okay. But me being, I guess, to go back to the Myers-Briggs, thing, me being more extroverted, and I'm not really going to impose my values on you, but if you push your values on me to a point where I'm not going to take it anymore, then I'm going to say something. And so that's kind of how we've been. And then, I mean, I tell my mom a lot, so sometimes she'll say something, but most of the time it's me just being like, okay, whatever. Like, okay, whatever.
Just kind of blowing it off.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, just as you're telling me more, I feel like it's really confining.
Yeah.
I feel confined.
Yeah.
And maybe even a little trapped because you've got a place to stay,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't necessarily like
Yeah.
the way that you're treated.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And then, like, I mean, honestly, I could live, like, other places. Like, both my grandfathers live here. But they live in Atlanta, like, further south. And so it would just be a more treacherous commute. Like,
Sure.
I already drive, like, an hour and 15 minutes to school. And so that would put another hour and 15 minutes to my commute. So it's more of like a convenience thing. So like I said, it's more about me trying to be on my feet and kind of prove to him, like, thank you for your help, but surprise, I got an apartment. Like,
Right, of course.
yeah. So I guess that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Is like, I guess at the end of the day, I just kind of want to prove him wrong. Like, you kind of told me, like, oh, you should really be working. Like, I don't understand the whole education thing. Like, it's just a lot of negativity from him sometimes.
Sure.
And so I just kind of want to be able to, like, prove him wrong at the end of the day. Like, even though you told me I couldn't do it, yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind talking to my aunt because she's a completely different person than he is. But at the end of the day, I know because it's her husband, she would go back and tell him.
Sure.
And so that's just like you said, there's already a lot of conflict. That's just the conflict that I would rather not have to deal with. So.
Okay. So then it's definitely, in terms of making this more bearable for you at the moment, it's definitely all going to be you doing what you can do for yourself.
Right.
And not trying to change the environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Not changing the environment.
No.
No. Just, yeah, what can I do, like you said, as far as my professional development and just your question about me, what can I do now as far as my independence and helping that to grow? Just
Okay.
kind of like continue to think about that.
So that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to, and we've got a few minutes left
Mhm.
today, do you want to like come up with just a tentative plan
Yeah, sure.
of things that you want to do to get to that goal?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the long-term goal is, say it again.
I guess becoming is professional development.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So becoming comfortable in my professional development and the independence within that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your growth in who you are as an independent woman and how you're viewing yourself in your current situation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so if that's the long-term goal, then like what are some steps that you think you can, some things you can do right now that would help you with that?
I guess some things that I could do is I mean, as much as I would like to do it all by myself, I guess like build a support network
Okay.
down here in Georgia from my transition. Because, like I mentioned in the first session, home, they haven't been as supportive. So maybe like building a good support network down here in Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you would want to create that support network, which would help you continue to be independent. Doesn't necessarily sound like it, but that's
Right.
true. That makes sense to me. Okay. So that's like one thing.
I guess something else is maybe get like a summer job, so that I can begin to, like I said, save money, and work on stepping out of my aunt's house and having my own independent space.
Anything else you can think of? There's two things.
As far as professional development, just staying in school, and working hard in the program.
Definitely, I definitely would like for you to stay.
Me too. I think my parents would like that too, so, yeah, it's just sticking with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And within that, we talked a little bit about how you view that. Less of you just being a student, like you've always viewed yourself.
Yeah.
And more of as a professional in training.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely a piece of it.
It's different.
Yeah.
I see it differently.
Yeah, I see it more differently now, and I see it being reflected differently in my work. Like I was talking to my mom about some of like stuff we had to do, and I like started complaining, and I was like, well, I guess it's like I'll use it later in life, like, and it'll look good when I go out into the world, and then so things like that. So it's more, like you said, like a training manual, not necessarily like a, it's less of, I feel like in undergrad it was just like, I just had to know this so I could get done.
Right.
But now it's like, you gotta know this so that you can be successful and make something out of what you wanna do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is shaping you because you're viewing it differently.
Right.
Do you feel like, just as a starting point, this is a good plan, things that you can start doing?
Yeah, I think it is a good plan. 3 is good for me. I'll remember 3.
Well, we can also write it down before we leave.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Okay.
Why don't we like check in 2 or 3 weeks to see how things are going?
Okay.
And add or subtract or whatever we need to do.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yes.
Last thing I would say, Kira, is I want to thank you for trusting me. I don't take that lightly. I know that coming to counseling